Hey everyone, welcome to TechHub.training Excel P&L Prep Challenge Solution. Let's go ahead and get started. So this is the P&L that I gave you guys for Cookie Company. What we want to do is go through and clean it up, get it ready to present to the client. In order to do that, we have a couple of steps we need to go through. First, we need to duplicate this P&L worksheet. Reason is we don't want to overwrite the existing data. Once you implement your VBA macro, you won't be able to undo any work it's done. So to prevent against data loss, we're going to duplicate this worksheet right here and work out of that duplicate. We then need to go through and delete any accounts that have a zero balance. After that, we need to hide column F. It has some notes in there that aren't necessary. Then finally, we need a message box to pop up and tell us how many accounts have been deleted, just so we're aware of that number. All right, open up Visual Basic. This is the code that I've written. Note that there are many different ways you can write this code. There's no one right answer, but I'm just going to go through and show you what I did and walk through the steps. So first, define a couple of variables. This row right here is going to be our row counter. Delete count is going to keep track of how many accounts have been deleted. And then this variable, var, short for variable, not very original, I know, but it's going to be important later on. We're going to define the starting values of these variables. So row equals 6, because right here, the P&L starts at about row 6. Delete count equals 0, because obviously up until this point, we haven't deleted any accounts. All right, first things first, select the P&L sheet, copy that sheet over. Then we're going to rename it Final P&L. And now select Final P&L because we want our VBA macro to work out of that sheet. Awesome. Okay, now we hit our loop. I used a do until right here. Do until row equals 71. Reason being, if we look back at our P&L statement, it ends at about row 71. So that's where we want to stop our analysis. Whoops. There we go. Okay. So what are we doing until we hit row 71? This line of code right here essentially says whatever value is in column 5 of the row that we're evaluating, assign it to this var variable. So for example, if we are on row 8, over here we go to column 5, also known as column E. The value is going to be 36,871. It's going to go through, and as we loop, it's going to assign each of those values in column E to var. Okay, now we have a little analysis here, a little if statement we need to go through that's going to analyze whatever has been placed into that var variable. So if it is not numeric, that's why is numeric false, then row equals row plus 1. Essentially what it's saying is if there is nothing in that value, or sorry, if there's nothing in that variable, if it's just like a blank space, move on, we don't need to worry about it. Otherwise, if it's 0, then delete it, because it's going to go through and grab a 0 just like that for in-house delivery revenue, and we want to delete that entire row. We don't need it. Otherwise, one other portion of that that delete entire row, if the variable is 0, is we need to add our delete count plus 1. So it's just keeping track of how many accounts have been deleted up until that point. If it is not a blank space and if it is not 0, then just move on. Row equals row plus 1. It means there must be an actual value in there that we care about, so don't worry about it. That is our if statement that is going to go through and evaluate each of the column 5 or column E values up until row 71. After that, we just simply hide column F, and then we have our message box. It says the final P&L is ready for review, and then this little line of code right here, it takes our integer, our delete count integer, and puts it into a string so that we can place it into our message box, and it'll pop up and tell us how many accounts have been deleted when all is said and done. All right, let's get out of there. Let's go ahead and run our final P&L. And if you've never placed a VBA macro into a button, essentially what you do is you just go to shapes, Click a little square right there. Once it pops up, hit assign macro, and then you'll have an option to place your macro in there. All right, let's hit create final P&L. All right, there we go. 12 accounts have been removed. Make sure everything's looking good to go. All right, that looks much cleaner than our original P&L did. Awesome. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed.